Hello, hello. Welcome to Leap Taken. I'm Mika, and here at Leap Taken, I talk about all things witchy, craft related, law of attraction, manifesting, esoteric, and everything else in between. And this is my witchy review and chat. Okay, I'm looking at the screen because I see it's a weird delay. But let me get into it. So, first thing I want to just talk about it's you. By the way, this is not a new book, but it's new to me because I never had it, and it was ripped when I got it, so I did the best I can with it. But anyway, yeah, it's the Book of Shadows. It's the unofficial Charmed companion. I am a huge fan of Charm, if you didn't know. The OG series, obviously, and this book is definitely talking about the OG series. I think it's copyright from let me see. I meant to remember that date, and I can't. Let me see if I can tell y'all. 2000, the year 2000. So that's how old it is. But it was fun. I never had it, so it's nice to have it. And it's also actually a Book of Shadows because they have spells and things like that in there. Hi, Dylan. They have spells and everything like that. I got it off of eBay, and it's used. But that's okay. It was a couple bucks. It wasn't that expensive. I see that they left a sticker from a used bookstore for $3.99. I think I spent like $5. I have the majority of the series. Oh, cool. I just started watching again. So this kind of actually, if you are interested in going to a safe place for witches, my Discord channel, where it's just like a chat and I occasionally throw fun stuff for us to do. One of the last fun things we did, someone brought this book out. So that's why that's what, made me get it. I was like, wait, where'd you get that from? And they said they got it from eBay. And they sent me, I said, you got to share the link. So anyway, it's just, I think it's like the first 2 seasons, but I just started the series. So it's fun for $5 for me to have this and kind of go along with it. Because I'm still literally in season 1 for I think I've watched the Charm series at least 10 times. Almost 10 times. Maybe 5. No, probably. I want to say maybe 5, not 10. 10 is too much. Maybe 5, 6 times. This might be my 6th time watching the series. And it's been a bit of, I like to do that and then come back. There's a couple series that I like to watch all over again. Charmed, for sure. True Blood, I like to come back. I wait for some time, quite a period of time, and then I come back and I watch it, and it's like, I know what's going to happen. I don't know every little detail. Oddly enough, in my high school, they had some of the books based on the show. That was 2015 or 16. Okay. Yeah, so this was just like the copyright the year 2000. It's the unofficial. They make it even known in this little print down here that this book has not been prepared, approved, or licensed, endorsed in any way, or authorized by the entity that created or produced Charm. So they're very clear about that, so you don't think, oh, well, somebody else is behind it. No. But yeah, this is actually really fun. I think they do, I think they have one for like Buffy, the Buffy Chronicles, and yeah, anyway, so check it out. But this has been so fun. I like stuff like this. I'm a behind the scenes person. I went to the Friends experience here in Arizona. It's a traveling thing, by the way, because I like it comes to life. And it felt like I was on a set of at Central Perk, the cafe and Friends. And when I was there and I took pictures, and it's really about just taking the pictures. I wanted to hang out more, but it's kind of like a tour guide type situation, museum almost, like you're in these groups, small groups because of COVID, and you have to go to one space and they take your pictures. You don't get to just sit and really get a cup of coffee and curl up on the couch like I wanted to, but that's okay. I just got, a few minutes to soak it up. If you go to anything like this, never go when it's crowded because you can't really enjoy it. I haven't seen the new series of Charm, but I've seen reviews and it seems like it's really terrible. Okay, I have seen it. And I watched up until the season finale when, spoiler alert, because first off, they canceled it. We just found that out this week that Charmed, the new one, is canceled. They killed off the older sister. I guess they're mimicking, old school Charm with Prue. But we all know Prue going off the show with some behind the scenes BS going on. And that's why she was no longer technically on the show anymore. It wasn't like a creative thing that they did or something like that. But what I like how they take the interactions in the show and they draw it to real life witchcraft. There's sections here for like the working element, and like it says a personal growth like exercises for you to do. Yeah, it's called the working element, and this one is about like taking a ritual bath or all kind. And there's a couple blank spaces for you to kind of fill in. It's not like a lot of information, but it's stuff. Then they have certain scenes from the first 1 and 2 seasons where they break it down and kind of make like a magical connection to it and make you think about your real life magic. You said Dylan says, I just started watching Modern Family and the X-Files 2 days ago. I love Modern Family. I haven't seen the new series of Charm, but I already read that. Speaking of Friends, Walmart has a Sally Henson. This is what I got on my nails now. The purple. Let me show. This is it. Yeah. Oh, I know. I decided to go with this one, and this is called Lavendor. So yeah. Oh, I'm about that. Yeah. And sarcastic mom is, oh no, how sad it's canceled. I like, okay, I'm one of those people, I don't expect a lot from a TV show. So like, I don't get too emotionally invested. Movies as well. However, I will say this. I can tell you what was wrong with it. As someone who went in with an open heart, open mind, I saw other people's reviews. I saw what they said about the series. I did not let that sway me. So with that being said, somebody who's really open-minded, I watched the show and I was excited about the show. So when it didn't go as planned, it kind of annoyed me. It was too woke, fake woke. It was annoying. The one sister who at the time, the first, season 1, it was the 2 sisters, and then they didn't know they had another sister. She comes out, their dad had another child with a different woman. So anyway, the first 2 sisters, and I can't even remember what their names are. That's horrible. I've watched several seasons. Right now, I'm in OG world of Charmed. I haven't seen that one in a minute, but the oldest sister, she just seemed annoying. Like everything, like okay, so she's a lesbian. That's not annoying. She's a lesbian, and she's in college, and she's just like, everything is something to argue about, very feminist. And it's just, I don't know, it's just to the point where it's like, do people like you? Like, you're not very friendly. And then her younger sister almost was the complete opposite. She would have been more like the Phoebe character, where she was more, to me, a little bit more open, but not really. To me, she was more about the look. She wanted to look a certain way. She wanted to be with the right crowd or that sort of thing. There was a couple scenes with her like trying to pledge with the sorority at her college, and it was so annoying. Thank you for liking my shirt, by the way. And it just kind of just kept going. And then they brought the other sister in, and she was just as annoying, because to the point where it's like she's so weirdly rigid, and I don't know, they just wrote I don't know. I was willing to forgive that, so I continued to watch it because it's character development. I'm giving these girls a chance to grow on me. And the stories themselves, because the character might annoy me, but if the story's good, I can stay with it. It just didn't pull me in. There was nothing about any of the weekly episodes that felt important or interesting enough that you cared or developed some more feelings about anything. Certain things piqued my interest when they were tapping into, it looked like they were doing a little bit more with voodoo for a moment, but that didn't even go the way I thought. I don't know. It was just, to me, the writers were trying to work with an audience, and maybe that's just the problem. And maybe it's just, the audience of, you can't get everything right. Somebody's offended about something. Well, there wasn't this enough, or you didn't say this, or I don't understand why this wasn't included, or why are you excluding, and I get that that's a tough place because people are really about that. And I don't think it's that hard, but when you're constantly making your characters make references like every other scene about, basically woke culture, it doesn't feel real, felt forced, and I didn't like it. The CW is ruining beloved franchises like the Powerpuff Girls, really adult and stupid woke. Yeah. It's so annoying. I'm watching it. I get it. Like, you can, as someone who tries my handwriting not every character is meant to be loved, so I'm okay with that. That's why I said if the story's good, I can get into it. But the story wasn't good. See, I can let a lot of stuff. I'm someone, if it's a crappy movie, but there's a theme, a plot, the plot is cohesive enough for me to get it, but maybe the acting wasn't so great. I almost can forgive all that and still immerse myself into this world that they've created. And I kept trying to do that with Charmed, the new spinoff, but those girls just were not very likable. And I think I wasn't initially, maybe I did do a little comparing, but I started letting that go to let them stand out. But now, since I'm watching season 1 of OG Charmed, I feel like they're somewhat likable. You feel for them because you know that there's been a rift within their family. They're kind of on their own. Their dad abandoned them. The mom's dead. Phoebe and Prue have had it out. So you know that season 1, when it first starts, they're like at odds. And you're like, oh, these are sisters. You can see as a viewer, you want these girls to get together. They don't realize it yet, but you know they're going to be powerful. And Phoebe is very optimistic, and she's the younger sister, so she's a little bit more open to some foolishness, but not in a way that's too contrived. Maybe a little bit, but it's forgiving. Prue is almost a little too brooding and serious. It does get annoying, but again, you know why she's that way, because she was forced to be in a position, to be the grown-up, basically. And poor Piper, who's in the middle, always feels literally like she's in the middle. And I think the way I can kind of dissect it and easily just talk about the OG Charm girls, and I watched like 3 seasons, so with the new spinoff, and I can't tell, other than the one girl to me just was too caught up in how she appeared, which it fits where we are today with Instagram and all that sort of stuff, because of course that's an element. The other girl, too woke in a way, it's obnoxious, and then who would become the new older sister, the one they didn't know about. To me, she just was so flavorless. Like, she lacked any real substance. Her character never had anything. And then they killed her off. I don't understand that, but whatever. Did I hear that Netflix sent out a culture memo basically saying to the woke employees to shut up? No, I didn't. Man, these are some interesting times. Okay, here's the thing, because I think a lot of people are sick of the almost sickening sweet pandering that's being done to certain groups of people that, quite frankly, it's not even necessary. It's not necessary to do it, because people are going to be people regardless of your little, 30-minute TV show or 1-hour TV show. They're going to exist in their space. As long as you're not harming them, I don't see the problem. If you are being inclusive and you want to show like these girls are really out and they really want to, be activists, social activists, and they want to do this, I can understand how you could put that in. And yes, their world's going to have them interacting with certain places and, people, different types of people. I think it was such an easier way to show that in Charm. But in real life, I don't like when it's contrived. Okay, my beloved friends. When they brought on when they would bring in black characters on the show, and they brought in the female black characters, it was Gabrielle Union. She was the first one, with lines and everything like that, more than a handful of lines. And, Joey and Ross both were attracted to her, and they both were going out with her. And it was just a 1-episode thing. And it felt silly because, okay, Ross, if you know the character, Ross, first of all, both of them would have said something about her being black. It's weird that it was just never said. Like, oh, we're colorblind, we don't notice. Of course y'all know she was black. She's the only, you never heard anything about any of these people dating outside of their race. And then Charlie, I forget her name, the actor, her name, but it was Charlie on the show. it felt like, again, it's like years later, somebody, you said, oh, we got to answer the community about that. So we'll just throw in this season. She'll have a couple lines on here, a couple episodes in. And, if again, it felt silly. It didn't feel, and again, guess who? Joey and Ross are back and forth about this one woman. And I'm like, oh, come on, guys. Like, you just doing the same thing you did? It's lazy. I don't know. It just felt lazy. And like they're just trying to give you something like to shut you up or something. Friends did not have enough diversity for it to have taken place in New York. Like, first of all, it's weird. There should have been more Black people and definitely Hispanic people just interlaced throughout in the background. It should have been a lot more, but whatever. Yeah, because the woke is ruining their business. It is. I enjoy movies and such that are from the early 2000s that are labeled feminist. I think how totally different they would be if they were made today. Man, I'm staunchly Gen X, and I think from the things that when I was in my 20s, the things that I liked, I know that now that's not okay. Like a lot of the things, or I'll take it back. Growing up, even when I was underage, things were not. I know they wouldn't be acceptable to watch now, and with good reason. I don't know. I think that's just we evolve, things change, things fall. Honestly, they fall out of fashion. I don't know what's going to happen with the next future. Like the little babies now, I can only imagine what things are going to look like on their end, because it's just so, I don't know, life is so crazy right now. And the way things are going, I haven't wanted to go into the conversation about abortion and, Roe v. Wade and all that right now. Mostly because it really just makes me sad when I think about it. It's, the number of women who right now on different social media platforms pouring their heart out with their reasons for why they got it, hoping to sway people. You don't need to do that. You don't need to say all that. You don't, because I can tell you these people don't care. And that's something I learned by being very much a Gen Xer. Because I can tell you right now, those that came up, honey, if they got their mind fixed about whatever it is, you're not going to change it with your sad story. Stop doing that. And that energy exchange is not good for you. Legally Blonde brings out my inner gay. Yeah, Legally Blonde. First of all, I love that movie. I've watched that movie several times. That's another one people would have a well, why is she written that way? Why is she acting that way? But, it's okay that it existed. And I don't know. I like Legally Blonde. But I watched a lot of rom-coms back in the day. In its heyday, that was my thing. I was all over Sandra Bullock. And then there were a lot more, to me then, it was a lot more diversity, even within movies, than it is now. Like Vivica Fox, she had a lot of roles back then. And I remember on the big screen seeing her in different movies, like Two Could Play That Game, and a couple other ones that she was in. Nia Long, Love Jones, like those movies I love those movies. I agree, they don't care. I could share my mom's experience, but they wouldn't care. Yeah, no one cares. That's why I said the people who are against, they have their reasons, which have nothing to do with you. Here's my point. You can have an opinion. I don't care. I don't want to hear about what the Bible says. Like I don't want to hear it because I don't believe in the Bible. So I know you believe in it. And that's okay. Everything's okay. But you got to stay out of my business. Like, that's okay. That's your opinion. Your opinion should not affect my life. The fact that we have these politicians who have their own agenda, and they use, once again, another faction using Christianity to control the people. Yeah. So that's all I'm gonna say on that. But yeah, I got it off of eBay. I put the link from the seller that I got it from. I don't know if they have a lot or other things, but you can check it out. But this is really fun to have. I've been reading it off and on as I watch, so it's kind of fun. And there's some cool things in here, so I like this. I never had anything like this before, the companion book, so that was really fun. The other thing I want to just talk about, speaking of, because when I say it makes me sad, Mercury Retrograde. Let's get into this. So it officially started May 10th, so we're on day 4 of being Mercury Retrograde. And I know for me, I'm a strong believer, and I mean, I am, and as a practitioner, as someone who does any sort of energy work, we'll just say that. Hopefully you have a handle on things. However, it doesn't mean you don't have any effects of it either. What did you write? I love rom-coms. For some reason, I didn't find shirtless Matthew McConaughey and How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days attractive, but now that I know I'm gay, I can't stop looking. First of all, I've watched that movie I watched probably at least 10 times. Remember, it used to be on a loop or something on TV, and every time it was on, I would just watch it. Again, really into those movies. I like all that. What was the girl that used to be on Grey's Anatomy? Oh, and I think she was Lizzie. Blonde hair. Dang, what is her name? And she left. It was in like early season Grey's Anatomy. Catherine something, I think. She had a lot of cute little different movies, rom-coms that I actually like the, what is it? Like something dresses. She was always like a bridesmaid, 21 Dresses or something like that. That was another one of my favorite movies. Oh, I love a good rom-com. And till this day, like I'll watch the old ones. I love them. I liked when there was a time mysticism and all that sort of stuff was really kind of doing more of a crossover, and you saw that in the different movies. There's like older movies. There was one with dang, I cannot remember this woman's name. Oh my God, I forgot what it's about. Basically, Sarah Gellar, Sarah Michelle Gellar. Am I saying that right? Sarah Michelle Gellar, the Buffy girl, her. She was in a movie, It was something, and I think they had like a little bit of magic in it. There was another girl, she was like a baker, and it was like a rom-com. So it was like based in a little bit of magic. I think it was Demi Moore was in something like that. And these weren't like big films, but they were really cute. And I don't know, I missed that. I wish we would come back to that. I love the majority of gay jokes in early 2000 movies. Now they're meh. I make the joke to my mom that she made me gay by watching all those rom-coms. Listen, it was a thing. Also, I truly was a Barbie fan growing up as a kid. You know, all the things that are very feminist, excuse me. Barbie was life for me. I grew up with Barbies, playing with Barbies. Fun thing is, I had a daughter, and assuming she would like it, it was Bratz was her style. Because when she was growing up, Bratz was a thing. So it wasn't about Barbie, she liked Bratz. But she didn't play with them the way I did as a kid. So I remember just looking at her like, why don't you want to do this? And mommy will play with you. Nope. She did a little bit, but it was not, she just like having and collecting them. And that's just her personality, because she likes to collect things, so. It wasn't so much about playing with them. I think she just like maybe changing out their outfits, but she didn't like make them talk. Like you have Barbies and they have a conversation, and you play like I played Barbies, me and some of my friends. I didn't see her do a lot of that. I don't know. I'm of that time though. But yeah, right now Mercury retrograde is happening, and my emotions and the power of my emotions. Let me tell you something. They sway me completely. I have cried a total of probably like 6 times, sometimes this week, more than one time in a day, for various reasons. It's not one thing, by the way. It's not like something happened and I've just been crying about this one thing, something really sad happened. There's several sad things that have occurred that have just hit me in the heart, like to the point that I've just dropped tears for it. I know, I saw, why did I open up Instagram? I think that was on Thursday. I saw a elderly woman, Sean King, on Instagram. I follow him. And he reposted where a police officer, there was an elderly woman with dementia. And it's with his body, the police officer's body cam. And he blurred out the part where, it's the lead up. She has a knife. She has dementia. The family called because she was having an episode. And they did not de-escalate. They started yelling at her, put the knife down. And they're just screaming it over and over again, which Fun fact, that's not how you handle a dementia patient having a full-on episode like that. So yeah, he shot and killed this elderly woman. He could have tased her. I mean, quite frankly, he could have mugged her because she was elderly. But anyway, yeah, so I didn't know what I was gonna see exactly, and when I watched it, it just broke my heart. So that hit hard. And then there's just been a series of different things. I heard a song and it just took me back to a time that was actually a good time, but I just all of a sudden realized just this amount of time from this experience to here, like so much has went by. And I start thinking about my kids and how they've grown up. And I was like, oh, my heart is breaking again. And it was just like weird, random things like that just triggered me all week. And then just again, the Roe v. Wade thing and just thinking, what is this world? I mean, I know where I'm at this point in my life, but I do have a daughter and I have family and friends and people I consider family who are even younger women. And I'm just like, what are they going to do? What are we doing here? And then those weird politicians in other states who are Republican politicians proposing to just do away with condoms. Yeah, somebody's trying to put that through condoms at birth control and make it illegal unless you're married based on their Christian beliefs. Remember when after, or maybe you don't, if y'all watching this, after 9/11, there was this whole thing about, we start hearing about Sharia law. We start hearing about more and more about how they want to turn our country into, the way a Muslim country looks and, try to scare us with it. And women, and I'm like, yeah, okay. So y'all want to run that again about the women not having much power or rights for that matter to their body and everything. Okay. So all that, those conservatives, no, they like it. They do like it. They like it. Only certain people are allowed to have rights. That's what they really want. Christianity, any other religion doesn't belong in politics. That's what I say. And the fact that we do this ridiculous thing within this country where we want to see at certain holidays, we want to know that our president went to church. We want to know that he went to church. We want to know that he has gone to church at some point, even though with Trump, for some reason, I wonder why that was okay to get by. He, we know he's paid for abortions over the years. Anyway, yeah, about that. But I've had some very strong emotions. Just this, that's been what I've been feeling. Just a lot of things just coming up to the surface. And initially I fought against it, which made this week uncomfortable for me. Because I'm fighting against the tide, because I'm just like, I don't want to feel like this. Like, what am I doing? I'm getting agitated, and a bit angry with myself because I can't seem to rein myself in. And I don't like, who wants to feel like that, So instead, I decided to, embrace it's kind of floating on water. All right, just let it happen. You're in the middle of this large body of water and there's just let it happen. Just float into it. And then, eventually you'll be okay. You'll be back on dry land. And that's kind of been my attitude. And it made the rest of the week, including today, a lot easier, a lot more manageable. I've had the things that they say will happen during Mercury Retrograde, like my car is in a shop that got delayed, even though the day before they said it was ready. I'm still trying to understand that. Oh, well, we didn't have a part. But why would you send me a message saying it's going to be ready the next day? But that's another story. So, they did that. The other thing was I had a meeting and my words got really kind of like communication wise. I just don't think I was very effective at getting my point across. And I don't know if anything is going to come out of that meeting like I had went into it. So that's a little bummer. But I don't look at these things as, oh, it's Mercury retrograde and I'm like bitter and angry. It's more like, oh, okay. So this is an opportunity for me to kind of like work on my pitch better, work on this, and present this well or something like that. That's what I think. That's how I see things, instead of just, I don't know, feeling defeated by it, but I am feeling the effects of it. It's very obvious to me. I might be a Hellenic ancient Greek religion, but religion just doesn't belong. The U.S. isn't a Christian nation. Just look it up. No, it's not. Just look at what the founding fathers said. Oh my God. And then that's an interesting point. I was going to create a video today, but I was having anxiety about it. This is the time, if you're going to have anxiety, all those, whatever feelings you're going to have, are going to come up. And my thing is, if you take anything, the same thing I'm saying, just like do your best, not power through, but just like just try to go with it as much as you can. I know even today I wasn't sure if I would be able to do it live, because I had a plan. I had everything's planned, but just because I've been swaying back and forth emotionally all week. I felt a little exhausted. I've been so tired today. I couldn't even put my glasses back on because I don't know, the focus was just making my eyes even more tired. I attended a herbal class earlier, which was great information. I was trying my best to pay attention, but I'm having a little trouble even just keeping my focus with that. I did my best. It was an hour and a half of just staying focused. And I still have other things that I know I want to do. But as the day's going on, I'm feeling a little bit better. This is the true elixir, just plain old water. And this is the magic potion, by the way. When you feel, and for me anyway, when I don't, a little brain fog or just a little too much of everything. You ever notice when, this is like an old school thing, if you're like emotional, like if you're crying or you got some bad news, you're really upset, it was like, do you want something? Let me get you a glass of water. Like I've seen that happen in real life. My grandma, my mama, let me get you some water. It really is helpful. Listen, a lot's going on physically in our body when these emotions come over us, especially crying, because you got to replenish that. But yeah, sometimes you don't even realize you're holding your breath, that sort of stuff. So these are the things, like throughout the day, I've been making a point to care more about, and drinking my tea, peppermint tea, to kind of just open up a little bit more, clear the path in my mind. And then I had a lemon tea to kind of just a little purifying, cleansing, and now just water. I had a slushy earlier to, pollute the system a little bit, so I'm trying to clear things out with some of this water. Oh, an herbal class. Yes, an herbal class. The apothecary at home, that's part of it. They have, in addition to the subscription box, if you were to get it, just so you know, they also do this thing where they have, video like once a month, and they go more into detail about the herbs that they sent you. So you really get a chance to really learn. And I'm grateful for that. It is cold water. I'm so grateful because I like this format, and you don't have to go to the classes if you don't, or listen in on the Zoom classes, but this is the first one I was able to make. And she records them, so if you can go back and look at them, but I'm very grateful that I got an opportunity to sit in this time, because the box it's called Energy and Focus. So like the valerian root was in there. That was a bonus herb to help with sleep, and like the best ways to prepare it. Although it tells us in the book, like it's good to talk it through. Yesterday, me and my dad went downtown Glendale, and we found another psychic shop, and hopefully we can go to that store and check it out. Ah, okay, cool. I think I've been through Glendale. I never really go over there on that side. I really need to explore more. I feel like I'm still trying to explore. There's so much to this area. Let me just say that. I feel like there's still other spots that I need to get to. And I'm already thinking, I wonder what's down in Tucson, and maybe traveling that way. So I don't know. But I need to get out more. And figure out some different spots locally here in Arizona. But yeah, emotions also. The other thing I just want to say, Some people say it's not a good time to do magical workings during a retrograde, which in theory, but in practice, you might have to do some things. So I don't know if that's really that practical. If you can just not do any sort of working the entire time that we're in retrograde, I don't advise that. I've done work. You just have to be probably a little bit more diligent. And what type of work? I know for me, I'm doing a lot of releasing work, which is great with all these emotions bubbling up. But the point is, these powerful emotions that come over us, like for me with the crying and the sadness, it's just the level of, it's just, I have a lot of deep empathy going on right now. With that, this is a good time for me to kind of bring some other stuff up. That why does this trigger me so much? Why does the violence, violence you would hope would trigger people, but some people, they won't cry about it. But for me, it's a chance for me to kind of think about that. And like the song that made me take me back to a certain place, like all of that's happening for a reason. It's a chance for me energetically to work through some of that. And those strong emotions can really lead you through a ritual and make it more powerful. Even sadness or even, I don't know, just overwhelming feelings of just like, it's not necessarily sadness. It's just the feeling of overwhelmed, just being overwhelmed with these feelings in general. Sadness is part nostalgia. It's a little bit of fear of what's to come in the future. It's all of that. I thought that too, being told not to do spells during retrograde. Yeah, I mean, I think it depends. I'm working on doing a lot of releasing work, so I think if you're trying to release some things, it's a great time to do it. That's how I operate. And then I just wanted to talk about newbie witches. So not a lot of people talk about one of the good things about being a newbie witch, and it's good if you are seasoned witch to be around them. Their excitement is contagious. When you are around newbie witches, like one, they always have questions, which I'm okay with. I like talking about witchcraft, so it's good for me. They have questions. They're usually a little more flexible and, they're a lot more open. So it's good it's fun having conversations with them because almost everything's on the table and they're not coming from a place of, oh no, you don't need to do that. Or telling you, oh, don't do spells during Mercury retrograde. They'll be more like, yeah, I heard you're not supposed to, but I really want to do this. What do you think? That sort of thing. It's more of a dialogue. I don't know. Newbie witches are fun. That's where I'm going with this. And sometimes I think it's good to kind of remember when you've been practicing for a while, a little bit of when you were a newbie witch. And this is something that I've been thinking about also this week, especially after seeing different posts and things like that. TikTok really, we could talk about the pitfalls and mistakes and all that sort of stuff that happens as a newbie witch. And maybe striking out and trying to teach others a little too quickly and you don't know enough yourself. We know all that stuff, but I think it's good to sometimes remember being a newbie witch and, at least your own experience and how excited you were about the craft, how everything was a thing, seeing a feather, you've seen feathers a billion times, but seeing a feather this time has so much meaning. You're questioning things, certain patterns. You heard a song that hasn't been played. You haven't heard it being played in years. And you've heard it like twice that day in two different places or a reference to it. It's just those sort of things that start to happen. And when you bought your first magical item or first set of magical items or something like that, when you watch movies and things like that about witchcraft, but now it's not a thing as you're just, a muggle, you're a witch now, or you are trying to be, and you're watching it and the excitement that you get when you watch those types of movies. And it's like, I wonder if I can put some of that into practice in my real magic. Anyway, that's something I've thought about because sometimes we can get into a rut and sometimes honestly, as with anything, after a while, it just kind of feels like, all right, what else? Like, what else am I going to do? And, you try different things. And, for me, I like to try, like, I'm open to dragon magic and learning about that. I'm open to all kinds of stuff. But you get bored, basically. You get bored. You get bored with the same old, same old. And in the way have been doing things. I think that's why I really like practicing the way I do, which is low key kind of eclectic, but with a lot of focus on home magic. So, a little bit of kitchen magic, a little bit of gardening, hedge witchery. I'm a cottage witch. So, a little bit with the fae over here. I work with house spirits. So for me, it leaves a lot of room for me to kind of dibble dabble and do a lot of different things. And my practice has evolved because of that. My witchcraft has definitely evolved. I started off as Wiccan, and there's nothing wrong with still saying Wiccan, by the way. I just know that, and I don't know, at least it wasn't for me going forward. I'm not looking for the religious side of things. Maybe once I get, down the road, I might want to come back to that. I might want to feel that again. But I don't think that's for me. One of the reasons my witchcraft has not evolved into becoming initiated into any of the ATRs is because I don't want to say I haven't been called, because honestly I did feel something. Fun fact. The little whispers. But I don't want that in the format that is being presented here and now in this country in these modern times. It feels a little too Christian-y. Feels with a hint of Judeo-Christian on top. And I'm not really comfortable with that because I have issues with the entire religion. When I say that people who or even remotely could call themselves Christian get really offended by that. I said I have an issue with the entire dynamic, the whole system that is Christianity, the book, everything. Like I don't gel with that. When they hear that, they think you hate me, you hate everything. I'm like, that's not what I said. I said I have some really hard and fast issues with it, but people hear what they want to hear, right? I got a small metal Roadrunner wall ornament and a small wooden Roadrunner the other day, and I'm hoping to get in contact and work with a Roadrunner spirit. Ooh, okay. Good for you. I am I have my garden gnome outside, and he is the protector. So I do feel like he protects my space. Now, funny thing about that. One of my neighbors smokes. If you smoke out back, even though they're not right here, and I have it's covered and everything my back. So because the shade here, you can't sit outside without any shade. So I do have a canopy situation. But it smells like cigarettes sometimes when I come out there, and I hate that. It just, comes to the air. She's not smoking directly over my area, but it's close enough. But since the garden gnome and it's something I hate, since the garden gnome has been out there, I haven't really smelled it. So I don't know if she just switched up or what the situation is, if she just all of a sudden had the urge to smoke someplace else, but it's been nice. I'll just say that. So I think my garden gnome was protecting that space and just making it feel maybe not as comfortable for her to smoke outside. Road runners, to me, when I see one, I see at least one a year. It's magical. I feel something when I see one. Oh, okay. I don't think I've ever actually seen a road runner. Maybe I will eventually. Would I even know it's a road runner when I see it? I'm gonna have to Google what a road runner looks like. The first time I saw a for real jackrabbit is when we moved here from Florida. We're in Scottsdale in a condo we were staying in. And there was several of them. And I was like, those look like crazy bunnies. I'm not comfortable with this. They don't look like the bunnies that I'm used to seeing. These look terrifying to me. Awesome. So your gnome, I said, good job. Well, thanks. Yeah, I know. I do believe that, though. My gnome is out there really protecting me. And that's been fun, just experimenting. I don't do a whole lot of invitation or different aspects of the Fae. Just to be clear, I have that one garden gnome sitting out there. That one has been included in because I think that's not something I want to start if I'm not going to maintain it, because they might try to get my attention in ways I'm not really comfortable with, so I don't play with that but so much. Oh yeah, I think you would be able to tell they're long and skinny. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll have to, no, hopefully, I don't know, hopefully I don't see one here. I'll probably have to go out somewhere where there's less people, right? Where it's less populated to see a roadrunner. But yeah, my witchcraft practice has evolved. I would encourage, if you love the way your practice is going and everything seems great, the convention would be, oh, well, don't change it, don't fix it if it's not broke. But I would say, since you're already on this high, or you're feeling really positive, add another layer in. Don't wait until it gets stale, is all I'm saying. I try not to do that, because then it's not so fun. And this is the type of practice your whole heart's got to go into it. You got to believe. And when I mean stale, you just don't feel like doing anything. You don't want to read another book. You don't feel like pulling a card. You don't feel like remembering to do anything with the crystals. I've gone through those phases before. Gratefully not now. But I've gone, well, I lead a coven. It'd be hard for me not to to go that long without doing any rituals or doing any kind of energy work. I think other people would be a little confused by me if I did that. But yeah, so I do still do things. But there are times it feels like you're going through the motions. And I check myself when I feel like I'm going through that. So I like to be proactive. So already be thinking about how your witchcraft practice might be evolving. What is it that you want to do more of, or what do you want to take away and focus on more of? That sort of stuff. I also got a metal quill wall ornament. You want to work with a quill spirit too? Oh, okay. Oh, you said you're on the outskirts of Surprise. Oh, I've been there once. Oh, that's that's out there. It's the sticks. Good for you. Living in the sticks. More and more, I think I want to live in the sticks. You want to work with the animals and plants that are native to your area. I think that's a great idea. I mean, there's a lot of witchcraft books that tell you that. Learn your area. Learn what's natural there. Get in tune with the natural aspect of where you are. And that's something I'm definitely working on. Living here. Me just setting out my outside, even though it's not in the sticks, it's not out in the middle of anything. It's just yet another step. Me going up into the mountains and kind of just being up there is another step for me to just get accustomed and used to where I live and what's here, what's natural and that sort of stuff. Like, wait until I figure out some spell work to do with a cactus. I haven't figured it all out yet, but I will. Because I know I have access. I know that's something I have access to. Which leads me into my next thought, appropriation. There's a lot of buzz about cultural appropriation, typically geared toward, the more, I guess I want to say white witches. I see a lot of it. In general, cultural appropriation. I'm just talking in terms of witchcraft world. And I think, you can, is evidence of that now, because the New Age books or witchcraft books that you pick up today, there's always a section about ethics and being aware of not saying smudge anymore, or sage and all that sort of stuff, and being open to use different things because that's a Native American practice and so forth. I think where it gets interesting and blurry is when we get in the conversation of hoodoo. I do know that there are women. Well, first of all, I know for me, years ago, looking more into understanding hoodoo versus voodoo, because I didn't really, I knew there was a difference. I just didn't know what the difference was. So I didn't go buy a book. I went to the internet because I knew there was a quick way for somebody to tell me what this was. And I found out, right? So voodoo itself is a whole spiritual system, and hoodoo is folk magic. So hoodoo practitioners specifically, they, at least on TikTok, they really are really pressed, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't be, about others, we'll say that, coming into, wanting to take information and use it and then sell it. And I think that's the issue. That's when we get into the world of appropriation. You as a white person practicing hoodoo in your house, amongst other, like, that's how, I mean, what does that matter to anybody? Like, what you're doing? I think the sore spot is if you repackage what you picked up and then try to sell it to people who it originated from. And then you become almost the keeper of the information because you've been collecting information from people who did share it with you. And that is something that truly is happening, by the way. I know for a fact within some voodoo lines in New Orleans, because when I did go to visit, I didn't see no black people really holding a priestess position. I mean, yes, there's some are there, but not like the ones that are right there for you to access. And that's just very interesting to me, as it turns out. But, the counter argument to that is, well, the generation that held it down, that had the knowledge, they weren't able to pass it on as much like in previous generations because they didn't want to hear it, that was considered backward and all that sort of stuff. And, but now we have a resurgence. So I look at it like this about appropriation and how to avoid it. If you are studying the culture and spiritual system of indigenous groups of people and things like that, I think have respect. It's okay to understand and want to learn. I mean, we should be wanting to learn about each other. We should, in putting through certain practices. I mean, in the same way, if I go to another country, if I go to Ireland, and I would be curious to know, how do they express their spirituality, like there, not from what I hear about the internet, but like there. And I may find things I find that I could aid in my practice and I could put into my way of doing things. And I don't think that's necessarily wrong. I think where it would go left is if I basically presented myself and positioned myself if I was like them, like them. And then I'm kind of just taking it like my own. And I'm selling it out to everybody else. I think that would be not a good thing. And I don't think people get that. I don't think everybody's evil and is trying to appropriate and take over. Like I said, what you do in your home or amongst your coven or whatever is not really going to be an issue for anybody. The issue becomes when you feel like you're entitled to the knowledge from these indigenous people. You're not. None of us are. And the other issue is when you do get the knowledge, if you try to rebrand it as if it was all you, and without ever really giving any props to where it came from, or without really understanding all the other aspects of it. Like the hoodoo, for me, I just don't understand. Hoodoo came out of basically Africa. It came from the people who were brought over from Africa and the practices that they already had before, but it's this different way they had to practice because of their circumstances. And even if you understand the types of workings that you do with hoodoo, it directly relates to these people and what they were going through. So it's a little bizarre that I can understand you maybe wanting to use some of the spell work or because it fits a specific situation. Again, what you do in your home and how you practice, nobody needs to care. But I think the issue is when you present yourself as if, this is your thing and it's always been your thing. You've always had access to this information. I've seen situations where people, like this one woman, this just happened yesterday. Again, I was watching someone's video and in the comments, a woman, she said she was white, her picture looked white. She said, I believe in another life I was a black woman and that's why I relate so much to this. And people replied to her and said, people like you worry me. And honestly, it is a little worrisome when I see that because it's like, I know you mean well, but that does not hit like you think that hit. It's cringy. It's a little cringy. That's all I'm saying. what did you write here? The place where I got the metal runner, I had a little conversation with her, and one of the topics we talked about was cultural appropriation. Oh, okay. Her as in one of the owners of the store. It's a Native American art store. Yeah, because I know people just run amok with that situation. And it's when when you're going to a festival and you dress in Native American cultural type, wear. Like, that's weird to me. That's considered festival wear. Basically, anything that's somewhat ethnic looking is festival wear. It's like a costume. I don't like that. No, if I'm wearing something, it's because I don't know, it has some sort of meaning to me. I don't wear it just for that festival. But we have a lot of people, they don't care, and they don't really have a lot of respect for the culture to begin with. So, yeah. So avoiding appropriation looks like educating yourself about it. And then questioning why do you want this information? Like, what are you trying to do with it? If you're trying to learn enough to hold some sort of a title, assuming that whatever path you're learning has a title, or you're going to make one up and you want to present yourself as someone, a bit of a guru, and I don't know, I got questions about that. Why do you want to do that? I think those are questions you have to ask yourself. Why do you want this so bad? All these other magical systems out here, and these people are telling you no, or it's a closed practice. Why do you want to practice it? That would just be my thing. Why? I don't have answers. I have questions, and I think you owe it to yourself to ask those questions to yourself. That's just what I'm saying. From what I remember, she basically said, if you respect it, it's all right. We all have work together. This is true if you respect it. Respect is a big part. Respect means, I think my biggest issue is those who are rebranding it as if it's their own. When I remember trying to find a shop to purchase online, and I realized it was the way things were worded and described on the website for the products. I was shocked to see that it was a white woman running it. And I was like really shocked, but this is a couple years ago, several years ago. And this is when I start really noticing, so what's going on with that? If you want to work with anybody, are there no black hoodoo workers in these certain areas? And I was living in the South at that time. I don't know, that threw me. That's when I really start realizing that. But it is what it is. This is how, unfortunately, the sign of the times. Eventually things start merging. I like the respect level of it. Just give people their just due. And I do think it's a little odd. I don't know. When you share, information has been shared, and then it gets repackaged, the light version of what it is. And I don't know, it gets watered down, and what are you doing? Why'd you bother? You could have created something else. Why did you take from these people and water it down to, serve to the masses and make a profit off of it? I think that's my issue. But also the store owners tried their best to get all of their products from Native Americans. Yes, another thing. Yeah, where do you even source the products from? One of the things that I understand, even in these types of in witchcraft in general, I like the things, I got stuff behind me over here. I like things. I like the witchcraft things. But quite frankly, people say it, but it's very true. You don't need it. Rocks, dirt, water. You can do some stuff with that. They didn't have candles, access to the number of candles and different color candles the way that we do now back then, for people who want to be more authentic with their witchcraft. Most witches or practitioners would not have had access to those, especially when we're speaking hoodoo. They really wouldn't have had access to that. So it's weird sometimes when in social media I'll see people having these dialogue about what's authentic and what's real and all that sort of stuff, and I'm like, well, technically none of this stuff is, because they wouldn't have had access to all of this stuff. So all of this has just been added on. So if that's the case, who's really right, who's really wrong? Just saying. But yeah, just simple bodily fluids, all that sort of stuff. That's what you would have did work with. But I do like my stuff. I like my magical stuff. And I like to study and learn about other cultures. I like to understand in cultures that technically are supposed to be my culture, but history interrupted. I try to understand more because I do like to just stay learning. I like to be able to relate to people and learn from them. Not to take, but just to learn, you know. Sometimes I learn things and I'm never going to use that, but it was so interesting at the time to learn that information. And I think that's how you can avoid it. Just being open-minded and being open to learning, but at the same time having respect for the people who are creating these systems and spiritual practices and so forth. So that's my spiel on that. All right. So I am going to wrap up. That's my time. Would you say I really want to get books about magic in ancient Greece, but those books are expensive, at least $37 at the lowest? Wow. Okay, I don't even know where to go look for that, but yeah, and if I don't, that's telling me something. Well, hopefully you'll get it. Do a money bowl spell or something like that to get that. Sometimes those are great. Those are good spells to do when you want to kind of focus on this one thing, or not the money necessarily, but that thing. You want that thing and you want to draw it to you. So do a spell thinking about that, because maybe you don't have to need money to buy it. Maybe someone will gift it. Maybe you get a gift card from out of the clear blue, stuff like that. So yeah, maybe look into that, doing some spell work to bring your items that you really want near you. All right, so I'm gonna go. Thank you, Dylan, by the way, thank you for coming. I do appreciate it. And anyone else, if you're watching this on a replay, if you're watching this at the same time, I do appreciate it. Again, I got this off of eBay. It's a little ripped, but it's still a fun companion book. I like it, but I'm really into this sort of stuff. So of course I'm going to look to see if there's anything else out there for some of my favorite shows, companion books. Because I hadn't even been thinking about that. But now I'm kind of probably going to do it. Look for unofficial companion books. Thank you. You enjoy the live? Yeah, I am. I'm feeling much better today. I had to get over a migraine for the earlier part of the day, so I'm much better. But thanks for watching. All right, bye. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share, and consider hitting the join button as well. And if you're interested in my service at leaptaken.com, don't forget to go to leaptaken.com. All right, bye. Oh, I'm glad.